For this like a first impressions thing, for the first 20 to 25 minutes, it's going to be pretty much non-spoiler stuff. We're just going to talk about gameplay and audio, things like that. But the second part, after like about 25-minute mark, it's going to be spoiler territory. So if you're worried about that kind of thing, we'll have like a graphic on the screen for when we're talking about spoilers. But just be warned, I guess, spoilers. My name is, that's fucking dumb. All right, they should know who we are. All right, if you're gonna start from here. All right. So I played Last of Us, right? As you know, because I got you here to talk about it.
Correct.
Yeah,
I have not played uh,
yeah.
either one.
I mean, you know the story of the first one, and
Yeah,
you've probably owned a PlayStation sometime in your life,
theoretically.
so you've practically played it already. Anyways, yeah.
So yeah, let me do the framing for this. What was your thoughts going into it before you even booted up the game?
Um, so about a month ago, like some context, I played the first one about 7 years ago, right? Back when it came out, 2013. Played through once, yeah, a little bit. I played through it once. Thought it was amazing, like one of the greatest games I've ever played, and never touched it again. I felt like it was a one and done game. Didn't need a replay. Like nothing compelled me to replay it. I know a guy who said he replayed it 18 times. I don't get the point of that. It's a one and
Yeah,
done.
people really liked the game.
I mean, I liked it too. I thought it deserved the game.
I mean, I think it was solid from what I saw.
I thought like
I think it was pretty interesting
yeah,
environment storytelling.
yeah, like that was a big thing. Like I thought it deserved Game of the Year that year, which it won. So like I think that's a right choice. I think it was really great game. Don't think it needed a sequel, right? Like at least before I played this, it's like I like when they first announced it, I was like, "What? Why? What are you doing?" Like I was just my mind was boggled. Like obviously money, but like the game didn't need a sequel, and so leading up to release, I wasn't that hyped. And before I booted, that feeling pretty much lasted until I booted up the game. I was like, didn't really need a sequel. I'm not really excited for this. I'm playing it for the sake of playing it. Like I like the first one. I'm like 100% sure this game is going to be solid. I'm just going to play it for a new game to play because games have been kind of scarce since like Doom Eternal like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So, anyways, so when I booted it up, that was like my impressions going into it. And to be honest, first impressions, I don't know what to think about it. It's
Let's go on.
like I don't know. Like I just I can say firmly, I don't know if I've ever played a game like it. Like it's very like I don't know. Do you have any thoughts?
I have
Or,
more
or
questions.
yeah, like any questions?
Well, let's break it down. How is the I mean, basic Neanderthal question. How do the graphics look for it?
One of the greatest, one of the greatest looking games of all time. Like I have I play on PC a lot. I played some pretty good looking games on PC. I've got like a 2070 Super. Like I can crank up the graphics pretty hard. My PS4 Pro cranking out Last of Us 2 better than anything on my PC. Like hands down. I don't know what they do, but like it's a lot of little things. Like the comparison I would make would be like Red Dead Redemption 2. Like graphically, RDR2 is extremely impressive, and the animation work and everything. And I'd say Last of Us 2, like I think Red Dead is like very impressive for its size, and that's why like the graphics for that are so impressive. But I think like in just terms of raw detail, Last of Us 2 tops that in every single way. Like there's just so much detail, like to the little things. Like I have like you guys at home. God, people are gonna listen to this. You guys know there should there should be some gameplay in the background, and like there's certain points where like I'll just look at Ellie's face, the main character, when she's like doing takedowns and stuff, and like just the like detail, like of her like facial expressions and like the people and the blood and like it's so visceral. Like a lot of the animation, it's so real and immersive kind of thing. Like I know that's like a weird thing to say, but like I don't know, it blew me
So yeah,
away.
it's a bold statement coming out the gate.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'll stand by
I
that.
mean, I brave. I know it's like realistic graphics, but I don't know anything in the art direction like stands out.
It
Like, I don't know if they have any quirks they do with lighting or anything.
nothing like I don't know. They went for very like the color palette's very like green and like I don't know. It does like I think like the landscapes and like the vistas are very impressive, but the thing that got me the most was the very small details, like going into a house and just seeing the kitchen counter with like just random garbage on it, dirt built up, maybe like a note laying on the table, some stickers on the fridge, and the lighting just coming through the window with the god rays and everything. Like it all just culminated into like just this like almost photorealistic like picture. Like it's very like a visceral feeling. Like it looks like I know like it's like a cliche, oh it's lived in world, but like it looks like a real house. Like and then like I just think of like an artist or and like a graphical designer who just sat there for months probably just detailing this kitchen and this living room and like it's just a random area. It's like the game is full of it. Like there's dozens of these types of areas. You know what I mean? Hundreds. And
Yeah, lots of stuff's probably reused for that.
I
I
don't
would imagine.
I don't know because like I don't know. Like I don't know how much of it's reused. I'm sure like the garbage and shit, like a broken can is probably reused. But like I don't know. I'd have to like spend more time with the game to really look and see if all of it like starts looking the same. No, I mean there are shortcuts. Like I know like right like one of the last things I did was I cleared out a hotel. Like it was a motel and all the rooms obviously like looked very similar. But like even then they all had like sort of their own personality to them. Like I'm sure if you took screenshots of every room they'd all be unique kind of thing. But I don't know. I think like besides like the small details, I think that the facial animations and just just like the cinematography, like this is like all the animations and stuff put together, like it's so good. Like like not in the cutscenes because obviously like cutscenes for years now, like I mean they look amazing, but we've all seen good looking, motion captured cutscenes. Like that shit's been around for decades now. But just like the gameplay animations and like I said, like the facial expressions, like when you're in combat, and it just like culminates into like this is very like awe-inspiring, just like visage in terms of graphics. Like it just I don't know, it's something I've like. It's not that I haven't seen it before, because like I said, Red Dead Redemption like has a lot of similar aspects, good animation work, great detail in environments. You know what I mean? Like it ticks all the same boxes. But because Last of Us is a lot more focused and the world is a lot more condensed, I feel like it comes off a lot stronger. So I'm not saying it's unique in any way, but like I think it's the best version of that sort of environmental like storytelling and like just building a world. I think like that's the best we've seen so far, especially for a console exclusive.
All right, I have two more questions that'll culminate to one question really.
I see.
How is the like non-music audio, and then how is the music?
Um, I'll start with the music because it's easier to talk about. Um, it you don't notice it as much. I think that like it uses a lot of faint string sections that I think they work very well in the cutscenes. Like I think in terms of creating tension and creating like a mood, I think the music in the cutscenes is very like well used. Like there's like the opening of the game, like non spoilers, but like it like the choice of music there like the feelings that you get from that cutscene like are very like strong, and I like instantly to like I instantly picked up on it because like during the cutscene they just cut the music and it's just the mood you can feel like how it shifts and the way that they want it to, and it's very like artful. During combat, music is I don't know, like it's less noticeable. It doesn't have like a rockin' soundtrack, but like it's a lot more subtle. I think it's not that it's bad. It's just a lot more subtle than like say Doom. Um, in terms of like non music, like just like gameplay wise, it uses sound a lot more liberally. Like it's not like completely realistic. Like you can hear footsteps and all that stuff, but like let's say an enemy is about to see you, kind of thing, because it is a stealth shooter. Um, the music will start to swell a little bit, and that'll be your indication that an enemy can kind of see you, that sort of thing. So like it uses audio cues very well. Like you always know what's going on. Like the audio plays in very well, and it also plays into the enemy design very well. If you ever play the first game, there are enemies. The enemies, like the zombie enemies, your main way of like knowing them is by listening to them. Like, because like as soon as they see you, like they're very dangerous. So you don't want them to see you. You want to take them out with stealth. Generally speaking, I mean, unless you got the ammo to spare, which normally you don't. But um, I think like there's even like a mode in the game that allows you to like listen quote unquote through walls, and it like just makes the audio cues visual. But even without that, the audio cues for enemies are very good. Like whether it's zombies like screaming and making their noises or clicking, because some of the zombies click, and those are the dangerous ones. Whether it's that or just the human enemies having conversations, calling out to each other. Like you always know where people are based on audio cues. Like they're very good, and I think they're very well made. And also with that, I just want to say like like when we watched like the E3 conference and all that, PlayStation was like, oh yeah, like all the enemies they'll have names and they'll call out to each other, and yeah they will, and it's fucking terrifying because like I don't know. It's just weird, like killing somebody that just had a conversation with their friend and they actually have a name. Like I know a lot of games do it, like Metal Gear Solid and all that. Other stealth games where you like sneak up on people and you can hear them talk. But like something about like The Last of Us makes it a lot more visceral. Like they seem a lot more human. I don't know how to describe it other than just they seem like I feel like
So
every
they're pretty similar
yeah, like I feel like
in the
every
scope of the
I feel
game.
like every NPC is like unique almost, even though I'm pretty sure I have gameplay of like two of the same NPC models just walking together. But I don't know. It's little things like that where it's just brings out the best in the game. Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, a few more questions, and we'll get into the meat of it. Uh,
No more questions.
I guess I'll ask this like the same, like the gameplay loop, and if there's any like noticeable bugs in that so far. I mean, this is day like
Yeah, this is day
one
one.
basically,
Yeah,
so
I played it, for context, I played it at midnight when the game was available in the eastern US. And it is, like, bug wise, I can't say I've noticed anything. Like, nothing, like, noticeable. Like,
nothing out of the ordinary.
nothing. Like, I think it's, in terms of polish, it's pretty polished. Like, even like little things like falling animations, like there's falling animations. Like when you go off a ledge, you don't just like fall off the ledge, like your character just went off of it and the gravity took over. Like Ellie like does like animations when she like goes off of a
Yeah,
ledge. Like not like just a normal
I
like
I understand.
you get it, but like little things like that, like I don't feel like there's really I can't notice any bugs. Like if there were any, like even ragdolling enemies I haven't noticed really. Like I don't know, like just stuff like that. And the gameplay loop, that's where it's a little different. So this is like a minor spoiler for like gameplay. Like I don't care. I don't know if you want gameplay spoilers, but like you're like it's a third person shooter. obviously. There's going to be shooting. There's going to be gunfights. I didn't have my first gunfight until like my third hour into the game. Like a lot of the gameplay loop, from what I've seen, like I said, like I just started getting into gunfights in the game, and it took a while to get there. So I don't know if I have the full context of the gameplay loop, but what I can gather is that the gameplay loop is very it's satisfying, but in a different way than normal games. Like it's rewarding, but not number wise. Like it doesn't like okay, so you can go and a lot of the game is just searching environments. You're just going into like a room, looking around, scavenging for equipment, and then moving on, taking out any enemies that you see along the way, or just avoiding them. Um, and that's rewarding, but not in the way you'd think. Like obviously you get a lot of gear and supplies that can help you on your journey, but the main reward from exploring is like story stuff. Like like I remember there was and I told you about this earlier. There's some objective that I did in the game. Like I went to an area, like one of the main story areas, and there was a little breadcrumb there that said, "Hey, go to this corner store. There might be something there." Went there, found another breadcrumb that led me to another place that had another breadcrumb that led me to one other place, and then along the way I found a place and blah blah blah. Anyways, while I was just out in the street roaming around, because a lot of the game is just, chasing these breadcrumbs and marking off places to go to get supplies. Not story wise, like this is all side stuff, by the way. Like going to like one of these places along the way, my companion character, like I'm playing as Ellie and I have a companion, and she mentioned that there's a music store right there. Maybe we should go inside and see what's up. So I said, okay. There might be good loot in there. And I spent about 20 minutes in this random store, like doing dialogue with this character in cutscenes and like having like mini games and stuff and like developing their character. And it's all optional. Like I could have just went to the main objective and never even went in that store, but because I took the time to explore, I got this great like fulfilling story
Is
beat almost like. And
is it go on.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna ask like I guess it's gonna be hard to say, but how like optional is it? Because I know stuff like this kind of rubs me the wrong way, but like Red Dead has something similar where like they say look at all these optional quest and stranger encounters we have, but it's nearly impossible to play the game without them just happening to you.
Um, uh,
Like even though it says it's random and it's optional, that it's extremely hard to miss. Is it?
it's a
I
hundred
don't know. How do
percent.
you feel?
Cause like, okay, so
I'm just asking because you're talking about like following all these trails, and I'm just wondering if it's
no,
possibly just pushing
I,
there.
I just happened to be there. Like, I went to a store, got some gear, was on my way back to the main objective on a random side street I decided to take, and my companion mentioned, "Hey, there's a store we could check out." Like, I could have ignored all that. Like even if I did the breadcrumbs like I said, which the game does lay out for you, I might have missed the store. Like I could have just took a different street and just went somewhere else. Like it wasn't really that close to anything else. It was just on its own. So unless like I said, I just happened upon it. So unless you're looking for it, you probably wouldn't have found it unless you happened upon it by accident. Like it was completely optional. And like I said, it was a full motion cutscene just in the middle of the level. Like I said, like you could have easily missed. Like it's little stuff like that, which is like I don't know if it adds replay value because like I said, I need to play the game through to know if I really want to replay it. But like it's little stuff like that. Like I also like in one of these breadcrumb areas, which is optional, I found like a really good like or maybe not in one of the breadcrumb aisles. It was like just in a store. There was a really good upgrade, like a really good upgrade, like one that I felt like would have been a main upgrade in the story, but no, it's just something you can happen upon in a store. Like it's stuff like that where it's like I don't know if I'm getting everything, but I'm also satisfied with what I'm getting. I feel rewarded for my time. You know what I mean? But I realize this could be a good thing for like replay value. Like, I don't know. There could be conversations I missed. I might want to go back and play them. I don't know yet. I don't know how this if the story is gonna want to make me look for more kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense.
I'm soaking it up, but leaving the heavy questions for later.
All right.
Do you want to talk about some like non-spoiler narrative, then we go into spoiler territory then? I have some ideas after that.
Non-spoiler like narrative stuff,
Like, I don't know,
like
I
basic
guess where you
gameplay
start.
beats. Okay, I
Yeah,
get it. Yeah. Well, the game opens right where the second one left off. In fact, it's
the
like,
first one.
or the first one, yeah, like leave like as soon as the first one ends, the second one pretty much begins, and you pick up from there, and you're in the same place. It's if you've played the first one, then you're ready for it. It even like the opening of the game gives a little bit of a what you need to know. Yeah, it recaps the first one pretty well. It doesn't like go into excruciating detail. It's just here's the base story beats, here's the ending. Have fun, kind of thing. And from there, you travel across the country doing stuff. The first place you go to is Seattle, which was in the trailers and stuff. And you, like I said, that's where I spent my time walking around, looking at all these like breadcrumb things and picking up all these different items. I don't know how long you spend there, or even if you travel to other places, but it implies that you're going to be traveling around a bit. It's not just like one place. Like you're going to be going around and experiencing different environments and stuff like that. The first like opening takes place in a very snowy area, and it's got some good snow animations. Walking up the trees and watching the snow fall off, and all this other stuff, riding horses and stuff. And the game, like right now, is like in the middle of summer, like up in upstate Seattle, like Washington. So you have all these like mountainous, grassy, like overgrown areas. Like I said, with really good animation. It's just all like I don't know, like in terms of narrative, that's about all I can say without going into I guess what would be spoilers, even though I guess it's all leaked. Also, I didn't see any of the leaks before you asked, so I don't know if any of them are true. So I can't
Yeah,
really,
should have
couldn't,
prefaced with that, I guess.
yeah, I can't really say if any of the spoilers are true, like the leaks from earlier. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later for sure. I got some ideas on that.
All right.
And so we want to, I guess, go into non or spoiler territory now.
Yeah, I guess we should have mentioned that at the beginning that we are going to do a
All right,
spoiler section.
all right, we'll jump into it.
All right.
All right, so do you want to talk about any of the, spoiler side of the narrative from what you've seen?
I don't know. Like, do you want me to just break down? Like, all right. So in terms
Yeah,
of like,
preface.
all right,
I
yeah, preface. You have
haven't
no
played
idea
it.
what the story is. Yeah.
I mean,
All
I've
right.
I've seen like a lot of the leaks, but I don't have any first-hand experience.
All right. So Joel's like, his he's not as hung as I thought he'd be. All right. Like, let's be honest here.
Yeah, this is the most devastating leak I
Honestly, like,
had to see.
it's just I can't believe it. But no. So it's like I said, like earlier I said, like the game is like nothing I've ever played, and a lot of that is how visceral the game is. Like there were parts, like certain cutscenes where characters are being tortured, characters are being like murdered and killed. Like it made me feel nauseous in a way that like most games with that don't. Like a lot, like even like killing random NPCs feels almost wrong. Like I'm murdering somebody. Like it does very well making NPCs feel like real people. Like there's this one section where Ellie's captured, and I'm captured, and my partner is going to save me. Like I don't know that, but like there's a character that one of the captives wants to keep me alive, just in case, and one of his friends wants to kill me, and like this guy seems like an okay guy. Like he wants to keep me alive. He wants to. I mean, he's going to like interrogate me and stuff, but he doesn't seem like he wants to really like murder me or hurt me or anything like that. And this other guy just wants to kill me. And that guy that was like kind of nice to me, like not really nice to me, but like kind of like wasn't terrible. Ellie just guts like a pig, like just like you just like kill him like very vividly, like just he just bleeds out on the ground, and it's one of those things where like you had to do it because like things go down in a way to where like that guy had to die, like it was but like he seemed very human, you know what I mean, in a way that a lot of characters don't. Like, I don't want to say that a lot of characters in this game eat shit, like they die in horrible ways, but like a lot of characters in this game, like I gotta admit, they kind of eat shit. Like, I don't know, like spoilers and stuff, like Joel. The big motivator for this game is that Joel's dead and you're avenging his killers. And the thing about it is that you watch it happen and he eats absolute shit. Like he just like it's very like that's one of the parts that got me like I felt like a little queasy, like he's just
Yeah, that's one of
it's
the scenes I want to
awful.
talk about later.
Yeah, it is brutal. Not like it could have been worse. Like he went out, I don't know. Like do you want me to describe what happens to him, or like is the
I
idea
know,
of
but if you wanna talk to the audience.
if the audience don't know, yeah, so the game opens up. You're riding a horse around, stuff like that. You're doing patrols, and you start to play as another character named Abby. And this character, you don't know what they're there for, but it's pretty obvious. Like, I don't think the game does a good job of like misdirecting you or making hiding the fact that they're here to find Joel. Her, like Abby, the new character that you play as, her and her posse are there to find Joel. Like, they hint at it like while you're playing as her because you go through this section for like a good hour, you know what I mean? And it doesn't like they don't never say that they're going to try and kill Joel, but you could pick up on it pretty quickly by just the way they react and like the way they talk. And lo and behold, Joel just kind of falls into their lap, and yeah, they kill him. They like blow his leg off and fucking beat him like to death with a golf club. Like it's awful. But I think that it really like even talking about it like just feels like raw, like it's a very visceral scene. But it does do a good job of making you want to kill these people, right? Because like Joel's a very likable character from the first game, and he's a very memorable character, and the
Yeah,
fact that
not just likable character, the person you play as.
yeah, like I mean, like he's Joel, right? And like the fact that he just eats shit so hard from these people, like it does make you want to go after him. Like I do feel like after thinking about it more, because I've thought about it all day, like I couldn't stop thinking about the game, and after thinking about it, like yeah, I want to hunt these people. You know what I mean for doing that, but the game I think thematically also toys a lot with the idea that these people were going after Joel for revenge, just the same way that Ellie's going after them for revenge. And it sort of like gives off this impression and like
A
toys with the
tale as old as time.
yeah, tales of the idea that like Ellie's no better than them kind of thing. And like even your companion with you, her name is Dina. She's your love interest. And even she's like, these guys are they're just people. Maybe they had a good reason for going after Joel, kind of thing. Like maybe Joel wasn't such a good guy, kind of thing. And I have a theory about why these people are hunting Joel. So like Joel, like these people are called the Wolves, WLF Wolves. I don't know, but it's for like Washington Liberation Front, and they're kind of like the Fireflies from the first game. They're just a rebel group that existed to fight the government, and I don't like the game hasn't revealed yet to me why they hunt Joel. I'm assuming they're going to go into it, but it's already in the game. Like there's toying with the idea that Joel and his brother Tommy are not nice people. Like they have like they have more of a past than even the first game let on. Because there's just this one section where you're like following Tommy. He went off ahead without you guys, and you're kind of like following his footsteps. Like you're tracking down his trail, and you just happen upon a couple people he tortured to death. Like you just find him, and like you just know he did it, kind of thing.
It's
And
not so subtle
yeah, like they're just like
messaging.
right. It's not subtle, but like it toys with these ideas. Like I think it's interesting that it goes into these ideas because like it's not new ideas or anything, but video games are often the hero is the hero, the bad guy's a bad guy. Even the first game is kind of like a lot of the first game was kind of toying with the idea of like do what you got to do to survive kind of thing. Like you got to do what you have to. And this game is kind of toying with the idea that people are people, and like what you do is just making you no better than them, kind of thing. And I have this theory that Joel was like in the military. Like it's a weird theory, but hear me out. Joel's last name is Miller, and these people obviously have a past with him. And just while I was in the game world, I found a note that said something about wanting to, like, something about a private Miller who may or may not be either Joel or Tommy or something like that. And I don't know, it's just a weird theory. Like, doesn't fit into the story at all because Joel was very anti-government and Tommy was a rebel. So probably just a coincidence, but I don't know. Like, I feel like there is a lot more going on, which there is, but I don't know. Anyway, did you have any questions about the narrative at all?
None specific. If that's all I wanted to get into, like narrative spoiler wise.
Yeah, like I don't want to just spoil things for the sake of spoiling them because like a lot of these things,
Right. Just
like it's just a lot of it is just the ideas and like the tone of the game, like the from like killing enemies to cutscenes, like this is a game that's brutal, but like in ways that you don't see often. Like I've played a lot of violent video games, I've played a lot of gory video games, and this game is still like will even make me like just squirm a little bit from kills. Like even just like killing like normal enemies, like it's like just the way you like just slash their throats and stuff like that. Like it's like I don't know. Like the game does a amazing job at making the NPCs feel as real as they can be. You know what I mean? Like it spends a lot of time humanizing the enemies, and like I don't know. I think in terms of that, it's a masterclass. But my overall opinion of the game is like, and I guess we should have probably said this in the spoilers or like non-spoilers things, but a lot of like my a lot of my opinions are based on the spoiler parts because gameplay wise, I mean it's all right.
sounds pretty standard.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, graphically it's nice. Audio is amazing, but like the gameplay, like if you're not here for the story, there's not much for you. Like, the loop is barely a loop kind of thing. You're just like searching for supplies and doing some stealth kills. There's like some basic improvements over the first game, but I did play a couple hours of the first game like last week, just sort of to get my feet wet again, and it's like 1 to 1. Like there's very minor improvements, but even some of the animations are copy pasted from the first game. You know what I mean? Like just the way of taking down people and stuff. All the controls are the same. There's like nothing different. Like they added a prone command mechanic, a prone command, a prone position thing. Ah, God. They added a
Yeah, I'm
prone
I'm not
thing.
surprised that much didn't change. I mean, really in like that genre, nothing much. I mean, you don't
Yeah.
expect much to change.
Yeah, like I said, you're here for the story. Like if you aren't here, and like if the story doesn't like affect, like if you don't like the story, if it doesn't like grip you, then there's nothing for you here. It is a very like rudimentary just stealth shooter. And I don't know. Like I don't know if this sort of trapping like because like I'm not one of those people that can play games for like just story. Like if the gameplay is bad, I can't play. It's one of those things. It's like I don't know. Like I enjoy games with really good gameplay, but like it's a give and take. It's more like I'm saying like it's a give and take. Like I don't know if I could play a game that's nothing but gameplay and no story, but I don't think I could also play a game that's all story and no gameplay, right? Like I don't know, the original Doom 2016 like didn't grip me that much because like the story was just kind of there's demons, kill them, and like there was some basic lore stuff, but like the story just wasn't there for me, and like the gameplay wasn't enough to keep me around. Doom Eternal is a lot better in that respect. I think the story is a lot more solid in that one, but like I said, the gameplay couldn't grip me. But I couldn't play a game that's all story either. Like some older RPGs, like the original Fallout games, are hard to play for me because like I'm okay with like turn-based games and stuff like that, but like it's pretty punishing and pretty clunky, like over the years because it was like 25 years old. So
We'll talk about this another time.
we'll talk about it next time. But it's hard for me to play that game, and yeah, but like games like say like Max Payne 3, like the story isn't great, but I think the character of it is very good. And I think the story is decent for what it is and like the gameplay of that game is like top notch. Like I've been playing that game a lot recently and it's stuff like that that really grip me. So when I played The Last of Us 2, which is like a lot of story and the gameplay is serviceable. Like I feel like it's a good fit for me, but I could definitely see a lot of people not appreciating it or like liking it, not in a bad way, just like it's not for them. Like I could easily see that.
Out of 10, what's your overall? Given everything
For first
this far.
impressions, it's hard to say. Like I said, like at the beginning of this, it is a game that I can't say I've ever really played before. Like it's got really good gameplay. Like even the first game was a lot more straightforward than this one. Like the way this one, like it has like that Metro Exodus where it's like open levels and you can just kind of do whatever you want. And the way you're rewarded with like story is so like wild. Like I've never seen a game do that. And like hiding cutscenes behind like random like exploration is wild. And I think it's little things like that that I think are like not only groundbreaking but like so unique that I can't help but commemorate it. But the overall gameplay loop just isn't like it doesn't do anything special. Like it's just very it's not even I couldn't even say that it's solid like very solid. Like a game like GTA or Red Dead have very solid gameplay. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 didn't revolutionize anything, but the loop was solid. Like the gameplay was solid, the gunplay was solid. This game, like the stealth mechanics are pretty shallow. You know what I mean? The amount of tools at your disposal are very limited. A lot of the game revolves around collecting things. Like just like the overall gameplay loop isn't solid enough to where I think it could stand on its own kind of thing. Like without the story, I don't think it's very well. So first impressions, I would agree with us 8 out of 10 because I feel like the story, like the way it like sort of not really the way it like portrays its gameplay mixed with story, like I think is very commemorative. Like I think Naughty Dog should be appreciated for being able to weave their story into their gameplay like very effectively. But as for the gameplay loop, I don't think it's as strong, so it definitely brings down the game to like an 8 out of 10, which is still a great game. You know what I mean? Like I'd be willing to give it a 9 out of 10 depending on how this ends. Like this is just first impressions.
Let's preface this and let everyone know that you are possibly the biggest Naughty Dog shill on the planet, though. So.
I I could. I mean, I'm not saying I played like okay, Naughty Dog.
Just
Every
let
game
that
I've
just let that
every
speak for itself.
every game I've played for Naughty Dog, I've thoroughly enjoyed. I'll admit that. Like I wouldn't show their games that much, but like if you haven't played Uncharted 2, you're not living. Um, but like it is one of the greatest games of all time. Like changed my mind, but I don't know. Like take my opinions with a grain of salt, I guess, because like I'm not very hip with the consensus on a lot of story-based games. Like I don't know, Witcher 3, I think is also an 8 out of 10. I don't think it's terribly great either.
I don't
Like
let's not
I'll
talk about this here.
look, all right, look.
Okay, no, 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 no.
Here's
Cut,
my
cut, cut.
soapbox.
No,
Here's,
I listen. No, no, no.